Welcome back to Talk Raytown. I'm Zac Sweets. I am on the board and have the pleasure to serve on the board of the Raytown Chamber as a representative from Evergy, and very excited to be back at the desk again here in the Foolish Club at Gnarly Hustle, their podcast studio right here in downtown Raytown. Very excited. If you're joining us via YouTube, you can see we have the beautiful, is that alligator skin Gnarly Hustle sign, and you know exactly where you're at when you see it. Yeah. But welcome back to Talk Raytown. This is a podcast by the Chamber to talk with community leaders, business folks, to just figure out what's going on in Raytown and what would be good to know as we head further into the year and just hear directly from some of the movers and shakers about town. But before we get to this month's guest, I'd be remiss not to mention our sponsor for this month's podcast, Jackson County Public Water Supply District Number 2. They are located at 6945 Blue Ridge Boulevard and are open between 7:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. They pride themselves in delivering public health protection, fire protection, support of the economy, quality of life, and of course, you guessed it, high quality H2O, water. Today we have the Raytown City Administrator, Damon Hodges, to join us with a conversation of what does a city administrator do, and also why a city might need somebody at the helm. We elect a mayor, we elect a board of aldermen. This is an unelected position, and I don't know. If it was elected, it might be hard to find somebody to volunteer to run for the job with all the hats you wear. But you've been wearing all these hats for 7 years now. Before we really get into it, and obviously I'll want to hear from you about how you got to today, but what is something that you have learned in that 7 years with Raytown as the city administrator?
Man, where can I start? I learned quite a bit. I could tell you that. I started here as the public works director, then was promoted to city administrator, and it's been a great opportunity, an opportunity to serve and continue to do something I have a passion for, which is public service. In those years, I mean, we've done quite a bit. You know, one of the things we did that really is a testament to not only my staff and others, and also our collaboration with our board and our mayor, was we moved from a elected police chief to appointed police chief. That one there happened pretty early in my tenure as a city administrator. I got to see and talk to quite a few individuals and just get their passion and get their reassurance from their side that I have the same passion. I want to be here to serve and in whatever capacity I can, and pretty much create that culture within the Raytown, city of Raytown.
And I understand that was more or less a surprise whenever you got the job. It wasn't something that you were looking at the job saying, okay, yeah, I think I can work that. It was on-the-job training.
It was on-the-job training. It happened pretty early. Our previous police chief, he retired, and which he did an awesome job for us over the years. And from there, we learned very quickly you got to get things in to get on the election ballot and move forward with that. And with that, it's something that was so long-standing. The Raytown. City of Raytown was one of the last municipalities that had elected police chief. But I did receive, we received letters of support from the two previous elected police chiefs, and I believe we made a good selection. And Chief Kuehl, that was one of those things that you want your citizens to be involved with, and we try to create that with a panel that helped us with making a determination, move forward with that, and the board and myself and others gathered and come. What I think is a good selection in our police chief. So.
And I jokingly say it's not an elected position. It certainly is not. That's not the joke. The joke more so is just that this is a position that can really shape a community. And I think most folks think about, well, those are the elected spots, obviously, and not to take away from our elected officials. But there are a lot of good, hardworking just employees of the city, any municipality that just shows up and does a great job on behalf of their residents. And I think chief among them, being a city administrator, you see all the time spent by the employees to make Raytown, the best that it possibly can be.
Definitely.
What is your work like working with your team at City Hall, and what you all are able to accomplish?
Sure. I'll give you kind of a daily look of what we may do on a daily. First of all, our as far as who I work with daily, we have the Parks Department, Court, City Court, Community Development, Public Works, our Finance Department, which is also the Sewer Department, and the Police Department. And so also that with me, an administration umbrella is Human Resources along with Public Information. So we try not only to provide a service on the daily to our citizens, that be from everything. I mean, everyone used to seeing us for the snow removal or the pothole filling, or, those things you might see on the outside, or if you see something like a project of a sanitary, a storm sewer project, we manage those as well. On the that's public works side. But then when you start to look at community development side, we do everything from animal control to codes inspections. Not many people understand that those code inspectors wear two hats. They're also animal control individuals. So that one is different from most municipalities. Most have that as a separate entity, and we here at Raytown have it as a combined job. And I would say that the staff we have there do a great job on providing that. We just recently had a change there with our one of our contractors on the animal control side, and has backfilled that with two other contractors to help us out with that, with the sheltering and other things that require of us to get for our animal control. And it's been a good marriage. It's not an easy situation. That's something there that we provide a service to our citizens regarding. If you've been around or listened to the news lately, you hear about the amount of animals that are taken in, and the fact of adoption or rehoming is such a hard thing. But we've been able to work together, and that's another community outreach that our community works with us. I mean, they do everything from helping with adoption and adopting the animal to even what they call fostering animals. But also, I'm gonna do a plug on that one. I'm hoping that more people will go ahead and follow our animal control licensing. We both offer the same price, and if you do 1 or 3 year licensing, it's not just to track your animal, but it's also if your animal gets lost, it's a lot easier for our staff to be able to rehome or get the dog back to you. So that's something there that we would love for people to make sure to continue to take advantage of.
Yeah, and so as with every listener of Talk Raytown, I was at the State of the City address, and the mayor was talking about how employees at City Hall were willing to foster dogs and pets but until they get home. But there was one number that I thought was just incredible: the rehoming percentage that to get from whenever they find them to getting them back home. That's a high number, correct?
Yeah, it's about 79%.
I was going to say 80, but
almost 80% there, and that is a very. I mean, that's a lot of work, a lot of phone calls, a lot of checking. We get a few stories there of our staff working with other people who might say, "Oh no, I've seen this is that owner or that owner." So that's that there is not just a day-to-day thing people do, is also a passion. And a public service, you come with a passion to serve the public in their capacity. And what I can say of our staff and our culture is that we all realize that our service to community takes us all in different capacities. And so from the ladies that may help someone at the sewer counter who's trying to go through what they need in order to pay their bill, to the person that may have to rehome their animal, or even to the one on codes. We work with Habitat for Humanity to help with that program as well, that some who may not have the funding they need in order to upgrade their homes or do the things they need to upkeep their homes, we try to give them programs there that can help offset those costs. So we're about service at City of Raytown, and same thing with Public Works. We offer everything from our voucher program. When you come in, you pay $5 for a voucher, and you get $25 towards things like tree and brush removal, things like that. So those type of programs we've been offering for quite a few years, but also collaboration. So when you go through our budget and we go talk to our board works with us very closely, understanding that we're here to provide the services that citizens of Raytown need.
And thinking about that collaboration and kind of pivoting from inside the halls of City Hall to City Hall to the rest of the community. There's been, and you had mentioned ballot measure, kind of like those lessons learned. There have been a few opportunities for the city to partner with the constituents, and by partner I mean get information out for a vote to better the community. I know folks probably are thinking about it. Oh yeah, I remember seeing something. What has that process been like? How has the city approached trying to pass a ballot measure to do an improvement project there in the city?
Yeah, definitely. Here lately, one of the last ones we passed was a general obligation bond, and the bond was for the storm sewer projects. That ballot had the board decided to move forward with both general obligation bond for storm as well as streets and roads, and we were able to pass the one for the bond for the storm. The one for the streets came up a little short, almost 30 to 40 votes, depending on who you talk with. So that shows that to me that the citizens are on board and understand that those funds are needed in order for us to do the capital improvements. We've all been around, and we know we're they use the term a landlocked city. Ultimately, we're a city that's surrounded by another city, and that can have its constraints, but also that creates the atmosphere that we have here in Raytown. The city itself understands that we have some revenue constraints when it comes to tax dollars, but what we do have, we try to use it to the best of our ability, and I think that's shown by the voters believing that as well, by agreeing to provide us the fundings we can to try to do some storm sewer projects. We realize that won't take care of all the storm sewer issues we may have, but in the couple years to come, they'll see that we'll utilize those funds to address some issues we have. And one of them, when we first came to the voters, was a project on 59th Street, 59th and Raytown Road. It's about $6 million project, but during that voting time, we received word that after that we received a grant, an 80-20 grant from the Missouri Department of Natural Resources that provided us 80% of that funding. So that $4+ million is going to now be used someplace else. Mm-hmm. So it still allows us to continue moving forward. And that's what you want to do. You want to try to leverage funds from other places, utilize funds you have, realizing that your revenue is not it's huge, but it's a way to try to continue providing the services to the citizens. Because ultimately what people want to see is nice roads, no flooding. We want to see a perfect world like that too, but we understand that comes with a cost and it comes with an effort, and we're going to put the effort, and eventually we're going to be able to get what it needs in order to address the cost. And you said like other items I could tell you that they've passed that we can show as our use tax. That happened a couple years ago. They passed that, and that's helped provide revenue to our budget, along with the recreational marijuana tax was another one that passed.
And each of these had a huge public information component.
Outreach. It was very huge. I mean, we went from everything to go meet with different constituents, the Rotary Club, things like that, outreach, provided mailers, and try to get the word out. Mm-hmm. In our realm, we're not elected, but we deal with in politics, and part of that we also deal with voting. And we're just going to provide the information on our side, and then the voters go from there. But I do ask them to all exercise their rights, because just like those items that passed, there were people that did not agree with it. But I hope me and the staff gave them the information for them to make an informed decision. And when I look at that and I think about my position, I also think about the board that decided to move forward with keeping me as the city administrator, because I pretty much have, I say 11 bosses. We have 10 aldermen and the mayor. And, and those positions are not taken lightly. I hope that the public understands that their vote at a local elections means substantial, not only to their day-to-day lives, but also to their future as far as their investment. When I think about those elections, I also think about some I've seen in the past. We've had 2 elections since I've been in my position, and both have been separated by single digits, one by 1 vote, and the other one I think was less than 3 votes.
Wow.
So when you think about that, if you have a house of 5 people and all over the age of 18, and one person decided to vote and the other ones didn't, they don't really have a say about what's going on. You know, it because you want to use that, exercise that right that others fought for you allowed to have, to make sure that the person that you want to represent you and your community is on that board and makes those decisions for you. So.
I couldn't help but think when you said that one of the ballot measures didn't pass by 30, 40. I mean, that's a street.
Yeah,
that is a street. Assuming not everybody on the street didn't vote, but
Definitely.
yeah, I mean that's how granular it gets.
It is.
On big decisions. Now, I'm encouraged to hear, and I think some folks might not often think about when it comes to government or electricity, for that matter. You just want it to run, right? You just want it on. You don't think too much about it, but you know there's a problem when it's not functioning right. I would rest assured as a Raytown resident, knowing that the city of Raytown is doing its part. The citizens are coming out and voting consistently, maybe not always agreeing, but they're showing up. But then also that there is that third piece of the state leveraging state dollars, grant opportunities, and that the city's looking at ways, like you said, to maximize the funds that are available, but to also find that partnership. I think if I wasn't around government, I would just assume that it starts and ends with you. Yeah. You can send all your emails to Damon Hodges, but to know that there has to be that intergovernmental cooperation as well. Definitely. And I don't do it alone. Definitely. Are you saying send other emails to other people?
Our aldermen, they do a good job of reaching out to the constituents, and you know, and then on our staff, we've been blessed to hire some really not only experienced staff, but also those who understand public service. In the very recent years, I've hired a public works director, a new finance director, and then a new community development director. And all three bring us over 20 plus years of experience, which is great for our staff. So not only did they bring experience, but they also brought previous knowledge of things and new ways of looking at of approaches and things of that sort. So you want to do a good combination, those who may have institutional knowledge and those who might be bringing some other ways to look at it, so we can provide the service we can throughout. And we've been blessed to bring in some good staff, but it also means that we need more staff.
I was going to say there's got to be I heard someone call it a silver tsunami. I'm not calling it that, but that there is another wave of workers that will be retiring or already in the process. And I know that companies are dealing with it. I imagine the city is seeing similar things where there needs to be spots back.
Police department is looking to hire. Our public works department is looking to hire. The board agreed a couple years ago to provide. Ultimately, we provide great benefits. Not many look at the city of government the way they should. I hope they can more do. So when you look at the benefit of a pension plan, along with 401k matching, along with the insurance benefits and things of that sort, vacation, sick leave, not all companies offer that. And most of our culture, we try to help each other. We approach each other with a smile, and I think the environment itself, I hope we set the tone from our leadership on down that when you come here, you come part of a team. And so if they're looking for opportunity to work in law enforcement, we have that. Looking for opportunity to work in public works, we have that. And community development, we don't have any openings currently, but I can tell you by our director, she would love to have some more opportunities there. So, and we will look to have those in the future as well. So, and our board understands that. That service in the local level is about not just about the operations, but the operations is including the personnel.
Yeah, you made a really great case for somebody who's already maybe they have a family and everything, but let's back up and say, hey, City Administrator Hodges, I got a 17-year-old at home. I'm trying to help them figure out what they're going to do for work. Why should we also encourage our young folks to look at working in their community for their municipal government?
Oh, I think you said right there, working in their community and be able to provide a service within that community. One of the things I look at is, when you do redevelopment or you do public works and you see a project that you've seen or driven by and you help that be accomplished or being done, you could take pride in that. And that you don't get that every place. Some place you just drive up and down and don't get to see the change you're providing, or even where others might be trying to head home. Our public works department is there to try to help with the streets and snow removal, things like that. Same thing with animal control. They may be reaching out and doing things, and definitely with law enforcement. You got all different capacities there. Everyone that can be on from 911 dispatch to actual law enforcement, as far as a person who might be a police officer on the street. Just different opportunities there to utilize your skill set and be part of the solving the issues and not be part of the problem. And when I say solving the issues, that sometimes we do a lot of complaining, but don't really want to put the skin in the game of what we can do to help change things. And that could even start from working with the city or even volunteer to work with the city in other capacities. So to me, it's opportunities to serve your community and serve where you live and where you plan on growing your family if you so desire.
Yeah, and I heard you say something about a community development department. This isn't novel within municipal governments, but I don't know that if I know I'm looking for water, I know I'm looking obviously for the elected officials. If I'm looking at the directory, if I see community development, I might scratch my head. What does community development in Raytown look like?
So that great question, because that department offers a few different things. If we put the actual title of all that they offer, I don't think it'd fit on a billboard, to be honest with you. So they do the animal control, the code enforcement, the building inspections, rental regulations that we've passed a couple years ago. They also do, so that means that like if the building's being built for your sewer or your electricity or the roof, whatever it might be, when you get permits through the city to do vertical construction, you go through that department as well. And also it has the planning department. So when you look at different areas and you drive around the city, you notice, well, I got houses here, but then I have businesses on this side. That's planning. You put certain areas where you put certain entities in those areas. So we have a city planner, but we also have the economic development portion of it as well. Economic development means to try to draw businesses into your city, not only businesses to help provide services, but also business to help provide jobs. So those are things we work in within that community development department. So when that development, that kind of garners several different categories. And keeping, when you think about codes, you're like, wow, they're on our case. But part of the codes is also just to help people to see it for that everyone has that investment. If they decide to purchase a home in Raytown, we want to make sure your investment is something not only that you want to live in, but also you want to provide to someone else. And I think about families now who are transitioning. There's a lot of seniors who have been having their homes for 30, 40 years and now transitioning to either live with their children or going to another facility or something like that. We want them to be able to pass that home down to someone else who wants to live here 30 to 40 years to come.
Yeah, it sounds like if you look at the governing document of the city, community development is and other assignment or duties as assigned.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's got a big mission ahead of it, but also that it's showing up and doing good things on behalf of the community. You were talking about animal control and the adoption rate as well earlier. So it certainly sounds like community development is your catch-all. If you don't know, maybe give them a call. But in that, you were talking about planning and different parts of the city. My understanding there is going to be an update or a new comprehensive plan. Now, I'm not going to say, but I might be older than the current comprehensive plan. What does that look like moving forward?
Yes, so current plan is in place. Has been there since 96. It's been a while. But we're updating the comprehensive plan, and that's the overall outlook of the city, and provide different areas that you may have, like I mentioned before, everything from areas where your zoning may be a particular way, or maybe the plan is to have a business or a residential area there. So you want to look in, and we want input from the citizens, because we know things have changed over the years. I mean, when we think about what people want in investing in a home, or when deciding to move here and make Raytown their home, they want different things. And so providing their input, responding to some of the surveys that will be coming out in the near future. This will probably take us about a year to 18 months to complete. We're hiring, in the process now of hiring a consultant that would help us with that, because it's going to be an outreach situation. Mm-hmm. It's not just something where Damon says this is where it's going to be. We want the input from the citizens, and to work with our staff and work with our consultant, along with the board and planning and zoning committee and those who volunteer in those capacities, to provide what the outlook looks like for the future for Raytown. And typically comprehensive plans are something that are in place for 10 to 20 years, and they help lay it out for what's next. But also gets word out to developers and those who may be looking to invest and bring a business into your city, what you have planned. If people want to know that you got a plan, they want to figure out how they can fit in that plan. And not only do we want the residents to know how they want to fit in, but what they want to see out of that plan. So that's one of the items we have going on, and I look forward to it being something that will help trigger and spur more development here in Raytown.
And on that, with the outreach and the input, what are one or two things that the city hopes to learn from that input from residents, or is going to specifically be asking residents to provide feedback on?
Yeah, well, mostly it would be like what type of businesses you like to look at, what areas do you do, what are your activities that you want to look for, things like that. So it's more about the planning side of that, and then we'll have to do the application. So and that side will come in later, but ultimately trying to get a better feel for what people are looking for and want to see out of the city as far as areas of interest, things they want to look for, as far as businesses they may frequent, things of that sort.
Well, I'm sure everybody who's listening to Talk Raytown is going to put it on their feedback. And I heard this first on Talk Raytown. So that's why I just ask. I know folks will listen and say, well, how can I help? What do you want to hear from me? I don't like the dogs barking next door. That's probably not what we're looking for. Yeah. But if we're looking for specific industries, that is absolutely helpful. And I could have we could keep going. Wow. We absolutely could keep going.
You know me.
But I do want to give you the opportunity to close this out. Was there anything that the city wants to plug, or that you're working on, you want folks to know about?
Well, outside of the comprehensive plan, we also have the general obligation bond. We've chosen a consultant on that one to assist us with that, and they'll be reaching out as well. That's going to be data-driven choices of where we'll put those funds, which to me is more strategic and also a better use of funds. But in that, once we reach out to those residents, we want feedback, and know, because what we might see on the plan, we may not always understand until we start talking to the residents, like, well, no, that area floods quite a bit, or these different types. So we're looking to hear from residents regarding that one, and that will be coming in the near future. And the other one will come in pretty near future is a survey from the KCATA to kind of find out more about transportation needs. The ATA is a regional transporter, and if you notice, they don't have a huge presence here in Raytown, but we're trying to work towards that direction. And they're offering multiple modes of transportation and other ways to provide outreach. So we'll be reaching out to our residents, kind of figure out what they would use or what they need. I know we have a lot of residents who age in place and need rides to doctors and appointments and things like that. And we also have people that want to get to the workforce as far as where they might want to work at. So please answer those surveys when you have the opportunity, and we'll try to reach you whichever way we can. We try now to do both in print media. We'll send out newsletters. We try to do it both quarterly. Those are hard copy publications. The other one is also a newsletter we'll do that's sent via email. So we'll try to reach everybody at least once a quarter regarding those. But the other ones is we provide quite a bit on our social media pages and our website. So if you have anything or you want to try to stay in touch and try to figure out more of what's going on with the city of Raytown, please look at our website and look for those publications as well. They'll give you opportunity to kind of get in contact and get involved. And if there's one thing I would love for people to do is get involved, participate in activities, have your children get involved from everything from the Raytown Baseball Association and the fishing derby that Parks offers, the Raytown Lights during the summer when they have the free concert series. Those things create a culture, create a neighborhood, create a community. And to me, the more we get along and more we work together, the more we can appreciate what our neighbor does and what they bring to your neighborhood.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself. I would actually end on that if I didn't have some announcements to make. But no, if I didn't believe you when you first started that you were about community and service, just hearing the way that you talk about the work that the city does, I would say you should probably apply for city administrator. You'd be a pretty good one. But no, I thank you for taking the opportunity to just kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, let folks see what the city's looking at, kind of how it does run and what parts are played in it, in creating a greater Raytown, moving it forward. It's obviously looking in the right direction. So thank you for joining Talk Raytown. And before we let the listeners go, we just have to thank one more time the Jackson County Public Water Supply District number 2 for being the community supporter that they are, supporter of the chamber that they are. The next time that you hear from Talk Raytown will be March 20th. And on that March podcast, we will be talking about the retirement of our very own Vicky Turnbow that will be happening next month. I know that there are several tears that just went rolling down faces when I said that, mine included. But we hope to be able to interview the next chamber president, which is exciting. So we'll be a little sad, but then we'll come right back and talk about fresh outlook on what this incoming president will want to do. And in the meantime, in between times, make sure that you are going to the Raytown Chamber website, and that is raytownchamber.com to check out the events on the upcoming events. You too can also have a community-oriented event posted on that website. But the Chamber has their next luncheon on March 27th at the Raytown Wellness Center, and that topic will be on addiction and mental health. We'll have folks from Recovery Village of KC, located here in Raytown, there to talk about the intersection of addiction and mental health, and also have the Jackson County Health Department on site with some resources. So definitely want to put that on your calendar. Reservations are required. So if you go to raytownchamber.com, you can make that reservation, and we will see you later this month. And for Talk Raytown, I'm Zac Sweets. We'll see you next time.